Mortgage rates have been on the rise recently. Is now the time to refinance? Do you jump on it? I'll help you with that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so mortgage rates have risen significantly, actually, over the past month and a half or so, and a lot over the past year. It's getting a lot of attention, and it's creating some what's called capitulation, which is, okay, well, now there's this frenzy, and a lot of people are starting to refinance or look at refinancing before it's too late. Should you consider it? I mean, my brother, who's not really into finance at all, he's in education, and he even reached out to me and said, hey, we're thinking of doing some work on the house, and the bank just told us this is the interest rate. That sounds really high. Is that right? And I'm like, yeah, that's correct. So mortgage rates have been up. They've increased almost 0.5% over the past month and a half or so. And depending on the size of your mortgage, for a typical mortgage, I mean, that could be an increase of over $100 a month in your mortgage payment. I mean, that makes a difference, especially when inflation's creeping in there and trying to impact your margin as well. And rates are up almost 1% when looking at things from a year ago. So is it time for you to jump in and refinance? Will rates actually drop because they've risen so quickly? Will they come back down? How do you consider, what do you do from here? So the first question is, why have rates come up? Because that will help us answer whether we think they'll come back down. And they've been rising recently in anticipation of the Federal Reserve starting to raise rates as well. If you look at the chart as to how interest rates, or when interest rates have been moving up, mortgage rates have been moving up, it's about the same time that the Federal Reserve started getting more hawkish in their comments that we're going to start raising rates. Hey, remember a few years ago when they said, we're not even going to think about no, actually they said, we're not even going to talking about raising rates until 2023. And here we are, beginning of 2022, end of 2021, they were saying, all right, yeah, this inflation's gotten out of hand, and we're going to have to start raising rates. We're going to have to do that sooner, blah, blah, blah. And that aligns with when mortgage rates started to increase. So when the Federal Reserve is making those comments about interest rates, they don't get to control all of the interest rates unless they do yield curve manipulation, which is what they've done. But they really only get to control the overnight lending rate, the Fed funds rate, their interest rate, the shortest term interest rate out there. Now, as they do that, that has a ripple effect on interest rates all along the time horizon, okay? So 1-year rates, 2-year rates, 20-year rates, 30-year rates, okay? And mortgage rates tend to be connected closer to the 10-year treasury rate, okay? Confusing, that's not gonna be on the quiz, okay? But as the Fed started saying and signaling, hey, here's what we're gonna be doing with our short-term, our overnight lending rate, that sort of tipped the hand to the rest of the interest rate world saying, all right, it's time. We're going to start raising rates. We're going to start seeing rates go up. And so mortgage rates started moving in the free market, and the open market started moving higher. So then the question is, do we see them coming back down? You know, what comes up, tends to come back down, at least with interest rates. And I don't see interest rates coming back down. Now, they are extremely confusing, and they react. I mean, circumstances change, and therefore the interest rate posture will change as well. However, it's unlikely, in my opinion, we might have some stock market turbulence, and the economy might not be on smooth sailing, but it's unlikely we're going to see a recession, and unlikely we're going to need to see the Fed start lowering interest rates. If anything, just, for what it's worth, the Federal Reserve is doing two sorts of things as they get more hawkish or more aggressive trying to manage inflation. They're going to limit the amount of money that they're dumping into the economy, and that should be done by March. They're going to start increasing interest rates, and then at some point they're going to do some sort of quantitative tightening and try to start pulling money out of the economy. Here's my guess. They will be able to stop the amount of money that they're printing and putting into the system. They'll be able to do that in March. They should have stopped that a long time ago. Should have stopped the presses, abruptly, okay? They'll start raising interest rates. The market won't like it, but they'll be able to do so moderately. I don't see how they start pulling dollars back out of the economy without the market absolutely having a hissy fit, and that could about line up with when the economy is overheated and needs a cleansing recession. We will see, okay? But all that to say, it doesn't seem like we're anywhere close to the Fed starting to lower rates. We are at the very beginning of them starting to raise rates. Therefore, mortgage rates, I just don't see how they go down from here. Once this has started, that they're on the rise, I would suspect they stay up as opposed to dropping back down. All that's banter, all that's fodder. Should you now jump in and refinance? Well, I would say yes, consider it if you meet two qualifications. And the first one is, will you still have your current mortgage in 5 years? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, okay? Will you still have it? Or will you have paid it off, or will you have moved, okay? If you are still going to have your mortgage in roughly 5 years, it's going to be very unlikely that you'll pay it off by then, and be very unlikely that you'll move by then. Then, yeah, you might want to consider refinancing. That goes to the second qualification. The second qualification is, will refinancing actually reduce your mortgage rate by approximately 1%. Does it need to be exactly 1%? No, just like it doesn't need to be exactly 5 years from now, but that's pretty close, okay? If you're still gonna have this mortgage for a few more years, approximately 5 years, and refinancing would reduce your interest rate by approximately 1%, you gotta consider refinancing, and you gotta do it before it is too late. Do I see mortgage rates continuing to skyrocket? Will they go up another 0.5% or another percent over the next year? I don't know. We'll have to see how quickly the Fed raises their rates. We'll have to see how strong the economy is. We'll have to see what happens to the housing market, and if inventory stays low and housing values continue to go up like crazy. All of that is going to be wait and see, but those two qualifications, are you still going to have this loan in 5 years, and could you refinance to an interest rate that's approximately 1% lower than you have right now? Yes, then yes, I would work with your CFP and I would see if this makes sense. Still, even though I would say, if it's a yes to those two things, do it. You still got to run it by your CFP, because there might be other factors at play in your overall financial life. You might have some other cash that you need to put down. They might be able to point out to you that, hey, when you refinance, there's there's some other dollars that you might want to clean up, so you should do a cash out refi, but that might change your interest rate, blah, blah, blah. Run through this strategy with your CFP to confirm that it makes sense. Your CFP should be bringing clarity, confidence, but also creativity, maybe being able to see things from a different angle and make sure that you're taking your next wise step. So, do you meet those qualifications? If so, work with your CFP and jump on refinancing before it is too late. If you don't have a CFP on your team that can help you with that analysis and give you that guidance, you can always contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com, you can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.